Good evening and welcome to our Grade 1 French Immersion Parent Information Session. My name is Carol Caputo and I'm the Academic Services Consultant for our French as a Second Language programs. I'm happy to welcome you to this evening's live Teams event, which will provide parents and guardians with information regarding our upcoming registration process for the Grade 1 French Immersion Program in the Durham Catholic District School Board for the 2021-22 school year. Before we begin our presentation this evening, we would like to respectfully acknowledge that we here in the Durham region are on the traditional lands of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island. At this time, we will come together as a Catholic faith community in prayer. Please join me as we begin with the sign of our faith. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Praise you for the gift of community. Thank you for the communities in which we work and live. Thank you for the communities in which our students learn and for the community that is your body, the church. Fill us with your spirit today so that as one, we reflect your light and love to each other and to the world. In Christ we pray. Amen. All saints, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Once again, I would like to welcome you all here this evening to our Grade 1 French Immersion Parent Information Session. For those who may just be joining us now, my name is Carol Caputo, and I am the Academic Services Consultant for our French as a Second Language programs. I'm joined here this evening by Superintendent Mariah O'Reilly, who oversees the Academic Services Department, which includes responsibilities for our French Immersion Program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mariah. This evening, we will be providing you with information regarding our French Immersion model here within the Durham Catholic District School Board, along with important registration steps for you to be aware of once our online registration opens on December 7th. Thank you to the parents and guardians who have forwarded questions in advance of tonight's session. The responses to these questions have been included in our presentation this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent O'Reilly. I would like to review a few important points regarding the presentation format for this meeting. Tonight's presentation is being recorded and will be posted on the board website for future reference. Should you experience any technical difficulties, please log out and log back in to clear any issues. For those who were not able to forward questions ahead of this evening's presentation, please submit your questions in the Q&A area of the virtual meeting. There will be no verbal questions from the public this evening. If you are having trouble posting a question during the presentation, you can submit your questions via email to frenchprograms@Durham Catholic District School Board, dcdsb.ca. For the live Q&A, please post your questions early on in the Q&A area as there is a delay with broadcasting the live event so that we are able to provide responses during tonight's presentation. Any questions that we are not able to respond to will be posted on our website with the appropriate answers. Within the Durham Catholic District School Board, there has been and continues to be a very strong commitment to French as second language programs. As a board, we promote and value the benefits of learning French, whether it be in our core French or French immersion programs. We work to promote the vision and goals for FSL programs in Ontario, as outlined in the ministry framework for these programs, which states that students in English language school boards have the confidence and ability to use French effectively in their daily lives. This vision is strengthened by the 3 goals listed here. Goal number 1, to increase student confidence, proficiency, and achievement in FSL. We know that student achievement not only depends on proficiency in the language, but also in students' confidence in using it, particularly in authentic situations. Confidence, proficiency, and achievement are all interrelated. Goal 2, to increase the percentage of students studying FSL until grade 12. Learning an additional language is a lifelong journey, and students need to have the opportunity to continue their studies in FSL throughout secondary school and beyond. In the Durham Catholic District School Board, we currently have 3 secondary sites, Father Leo J. Austin, St. Mary, and Notre Dame secondary schools, where students in the FI program can continue their studies. At these sites and in all of our secondary schools, we have seen growth over recent years in the number of students who do continue with their French studies throughout high school and beyond. Goal 3, to increase student, educator, parent, and community engagement in FSL. This goal is of importance because engaged students are motivated to learn. Engaged educators inspire their students, and engaged parents are committed to supporting their children in their learning. Community engagement leads to partnerships that provide authentic French experiences for FSL students, both within and beyond the classroom. When students, parents, educators, and the community are engaged and place a value in learning, student achievement is enhanced. This helps to support awareness of the benefits of learning in French as a second language program. So we'd like to share some of the benefits of second language learning with you this evening. And we know that research has shown that there are many benefits to learning languages. You, as parents and guardians, are likely here to learn more about French immersion because you recognize the positive impact of bilingualism. Some of the benefits of second language learning include a fundamental understanding that knowledge of a second language strengthens first language skills. As well, the ability to speak 2 or more languages enhances problem solving and creative thinking skills and develops students' capacity to understand and respect other cultures. Reading and understanding French opens doors to understanding Francophone cultures around the world and promotes greater tolerance and understanding amongst Canadians. Studying another language is also known to boost children's self-esteem and confidence. Research also tells us that learning a second, third, or even fourth language helps cognitive capacity by improving brain development, listening skills, and abstract thinking. Lastly, it is well known that speaking more than one language provides a competitive edge in the job market and opens the door to a variety of study and travel opportunities.
In DCDSB, there are currently 3 types of programs offered in French: Core, Extended French, only at secondary level currently being phased out, and French Immersion. The grade 1 FI start means that students will accumulate more hours of French instruction, and this additional practice and exposure in the second language will increase their fluency and level of functional bilingualism. The FI program is currently offered at the elementary level in 12 of our schools across the system and in 3 of our secondary schools. A grade 1 French immersion program is a more intense program in French language instruction, which allows students to potentially reach a higher level of French proficiency, provided that the student engages and participates in the program fully. Overall, the purpose of an immersion program is to provide non-Francophone students with a high degree of proficiency in French language and the opportunity to achieve a meaningful level of functional bilingualism. This will enable students to function with ease in both English and French. French immersion goes beyond learning about French to learning through French. It is important to note that it is not expected that parents or guardians speak French. Teachers are aware that most families with children in French immersion programs are not French speaking. Communication shared with families will be in English to support strong home-school connection. Reporting is also shared in English. The role of parents and guardians is to support the instruction provided at school level and to share a positive mindset towards second language learning in the home. In the French Immersion Program, the curriculum shared follows the same guidelines of the Ontario Ministry of Education. It is the same curriculum followed by students in the grade 1 English stream. It is also important to note that the initial focus in the grade 1 French Immersion Program is on building oral proficiency. An emphasis on building students' speaking and listening skills is essential as students learn to understand spoken language through a variety of instructional strategies. From this will come the ability to read and write effectively with time and additional supports. The focus on speaking and listening helps to build strong foundations for this to occur. In the Durham Catholic French Immersion programming supports, in the Durham Catholic District School Board, French Immersion Programming supports building an early strong foundation in French language development through guidelines relating to instructional time. Exposure to the French language is maximized during grades 1 to 3 as students work on developing their language proficiency. As students enter into grade 4, this model changes and additional instructional time in English is added. The table here demonstrates the amount of time students in grades 1 to 3 will receive instruction in French, and the changes that occur in grades 4 to 8. In grades 1 to 3, students will receive 90% of their instruction in French, which means that all subjects will be taught in French except for religion and family life. This is the only part of their day when teachers will instruct students in English. The instruction of religion and family life in English remains the same throughout grade 4 to 8 to support a parish, home, and school connection. Once students do move on to the junior intermediate grades 4 to 8, you will notice that English instruction increases from a 90-10 model to a 50-50 model. Now, along with religion and family life instruction happening in English, math and English language arts are now added. When considering a French immersion program for their child, some parents or guardians express concern about the lack of specific instruction in English literacy skills. Parents wonder if their child will lag behind in their English peers. Research shows that literacy skills transfer from one language to another, so this should not be a concern. Students in our schools are exposed to English at home, school, and within their communities, and are able to develop their literacy skills in a variety of ways. It should also be noted that religion and family life will always be taught in English from grades 1 to 8, which also provides students with opportunities to continue to use their verbal and written skills in English. As always, we would encourage parents to continue developing their child's literacy skills at home by supporting reading on a daily basis. It is also important to share that students in grade 3 will complete only the math portion of the primary EQAO assessment, and this will be completed in French. Grade 6 French immersion students will complete both the language and math portions of the junior assessment in English. As you're exploring French immersion as a program option for your child, it is also important to be aware of what changes happen at the secondary level in terms of course options. At the secondary level, all students are required to complete 30 credits to receive their Ontario Secondary School Diploma. The Durham Catholic District School Board French Immersion Secondary Program requires a student to complete a minimum of 10 of these credits in French. The courses shared in this slide provide an overview of the mandatory courses in each grade which students will take in French. The remaining courses each year will be provided in English. The programming is meant to provide students more choice in their course options as they progress throughout their secondary years and as they are making choices about future pathways at post-secondary level. You will notice that Civics and Careers in grade 10 and Religion in grade 12, which are compulsory courses, are provided in either English or French in each high school, but French immersion students may choose to complete these courses in either English or French.
At this time, we would like to provide you with a glimpse into what the Grade 1 French Immersion Program includes in our Durham Catholic schools. As previously mentioned, there is a clear emphasis on building oral language skills, which includes speaking and listening. The teacher models language and provides positive reinforcement in regards to building language proficiency as students increase their level of confidence with each new word and phrase that they are able to understand and say. This typically happens very quickly through the variety of language activities that teachers incorporate into their daily instruction. Students will acquire basic language skills as they sing songs, recite poems, and respond to engaging language activities. This focus on oral language skills will build strong reading and writing skills as children progress through the grades. French immersion classrooms are very busy places of learning, with an emphasis on teacher modeling and student talk time. Listening activities also support an emphasis on developing students' phonological awareness. This focus on rhyming, segmenting words, and blending sounds, for example, will later help to build students' reading skills. Learning in Grade 1 French immersion is collaborative. We learn language by using the language and engaging in tasks with others. Active learning will help to reinforce language skills. Learning a language is based on social interactions, and even throughout this year with COVID restrictions, teachers have found ways to continue to engage students in using French with members of their classroom community, all while remaining safe and within COVID guidelines. It is interesting to observe the rapid pace at which students in Grade 1 French immersion will begin to develop language skills that will see them first focus on listening to the language around them and then begin to incorporate words, then phrases, and then sentences to their repertoire of the language. Parents can support this by engaging their child in sharing what they have learned at school and encouraging the steps they make in building their skills with positive reinforcement. In terms of reporting practices for Grade 1 French immersion students, it is important to note that in the area of their French instruction, students will only receive a comment for the listening and speaking strands on the initial progress report shared in November. First and second term report cards will then add the reading and writing strands and will include a comment and a grade. Should students experience difficulty as they progress through the program, they will be supported by their teachers, as well as program support teachers at the school level. Board level staff are also available to support in our French immersion program should this be a necessary step determined at the school level. Strategies and instructional supports are incorporated by educators to assist students in their learning and to provide all of the accommodations required to ensure that the child can be successful. For parents and guardians, it is important to note that it is not a quick transfer out of the French immersion program and into the English program should a student begin to experience difficulties, as we want to ensure that all efforts have been provided to the student in order for them to be successful. Should your child experience difficulty, we encourage you to speak to the teacher to gain insight as to what supports are required as an initial step. We would also like to highlight that resources shared on our board website, after-school assistance programs, and summer learning programs are also available to support all students in their language learning in the FI program. We would also like to highlight that support at home from parents and guardians is so essential to success for students. For example, French immersion teachers promote the reinforcement of literacy skills taught in school by encouraging daily reading with your child. This can be supported by parents and guardians at home. Regardless of the language you are reading in with your child, this will help to support strong skills in literacy in both English and French. In order to support you in your decision to register your child for the Grade 1 French Immersion Program, we would like to provide some additional research background regarding student success in the program. These factors are important for the success of all students in all programs, including French Immersion. Student success is influenced by a variety of factors, including resiliency and perseverance. Students will face challenges as they manage the transition to learning in a second language. This is to be expected and will be supported by parents and guardians and educators, fostering a positive and encouraging approach to learning where risks can be taken. This is a very important factor in language learning. Students need to feel supported in order for them to build the confidence they need to speak in the new language. Although there will be some productive struggle as they are faced with new learning, this is embraced and expected in our FI program. Growth mindset is a focus in our schools and especially in FSL programs. The power of yet is often shared with students as they explore what they are able to do in the second language and what they just might not be able to do just yet, but are working towards. The emphasis is most certainly on proficiency and looking towards our next steps in learning. With a growth mindset, learning potential increases, as does student confidence. Self-regulation skills, which are the ability to control and direct one's feelings, thoughts, and actions, is also of great importance. The ability to self-regulate helps children succeed in the context of the classroom and supports children's social development. Students may experience some stressors and feelings of unease as they begin learning in a new language, as was already mentioned. Strong self-regulation skills will support students in their emotional response to this situation and can be reinforced at home by parents and guardians. Establish routines that are consistent is critical to success as well. Sufficient sleep and proper nutrition are key, along with proper exercise and decreased screen time. These measures at home can help to support the impact of the cognitive load placed on students as they learn a new language. Regular school attendance is another area that helps to promote student success. It is essential to be punctual also, as any time away from class is time away from developing strong oral language skills. Missing a great deal of time in class will negatively impact students' success as they work to build their skills. The most critical factor to student success is support from home. The best predictor of student success is the extent to which families encourage learning and involve themselves in their children's learning. Staying positive and encouraging as children transition into learning in an FI program is so important. We ask that you promote the value of language learning and promote students' efforts as they explore learning in a new language. As was previously mentioned, your ability to speak French is not required to support your child in the FI program. As a parent or guardian, however, your help in encouraging your child's language skills is of great importance. This can be achieved by supporting opportunities for your child to express their thoughts and ideas in either French, English, or your native language at home. These skills will transfer from one language to another and will increase success in the classroom learning environment. We encourage you to create a home environment where curiosity about the world is nurtured and explored together, and where access to materials in French, such as books, videos, games, all are available to your child. Teachers are always very supportive in helping families with suggestions in this area and will provide you with reading resources such as Lecture Enfant, which is a board-funded digital reading platform which allows families to enjoy French books read aloud.
We are proud to offer a French immersion program at 12 of our Durham Catholic District School Board schools. These schools are found in each of the municipalities within our system, with most of them being dual-track schools where both English and French programs are available. St. Patrick Catholic School in Ajax is our only French immersion center, which means that all the students in the school are in the French immersion program in grades 1 to 8. Kindergarten students enrolled at St. Patrick do not need to register for grade 1 French immersion program, as they will be automatically registered for September 2021. This includes the year 2 kindergarten students from St. Patrick's who are currently attending the virtual elementary school. These students will not need to register online when the registration process opens. Like their peers in the St. Patrick brick and mortar building, they will automatically be enrolled in the program. It is important to note that all other virtual year 2 students, kindergarten students, will still need to register following the normal process. A list of the schools is found on this slide. And the following one. For your information, we'd also like to share that a committee is currently in the process of reviewing all of the potential solutions to address the French immersion programs at 2 of our Brooklyn area schools, St. Leo and St. John Paul II Catholic schools. The committee will recommend a preferred option for the consolidation of the 2 existing French immersion programs after reviewing relevant data and after public consultations. The decision regarding the proposal to ensure long-term sustainability of French immersion programming and the method that will be used to implement the final recommendations rests with the Board of Trustees. A decision is expected after the December 14th board meeting and will be communicated to the public. Families of year 2 kindergarten students at St. Bridget, St. Leo, and St. John Paul II who are hoping to register their child in the grade 1 French immersion program are asked to register following the online registration process. Once a decision is reached by the Board of Trustees, families impacted by the decision will be notified and the change will be made for the child to be registered at the remaining French immersion program for their area. Parents from St. Bridget, St. John Paul II, and St. Louis communities are encouraged to attend the virtual public consultation meeting, which will take place on November 25th at 7 p.m. to learn more about the Brooklyn French Immersion Study and the proposed option being presented for consideration by the Boards of Trustees.
We are proud here in the Durham Catholic District School Board to be able to offer French immersion students who live more than 1.6 kilometers from home, from their home French immersion school transportation. Younger siblings are not allowed to follow older siblings who may have entered the program at a previous phase school. They must attend their home French immersion school. Transportation for these students will continue as long as these students register for the grade 1 French immersion program. It is also important to note that if parents wish to have a child's sibling attend the same school, but they are not in French immersion and therefore are not in the boundary, that there is no longer a follow me transportation available. Certain schools with high enrollment do not allow kindergarten cross boundary as well, as spaces are needed for students who live in boundary in these high growth areas. These schools include St. Kateri Tekathwitha, St. Christopher, St. Mark, St. James, St. John the Evangelist, and St. Patrick, which includes a limit of 45 kindergarten students determined by a lottery system. At this time, we would like to provide you with some important information regarding our online registration process. As you will see, our registration opens on Monday, December 7th, and will close on Friday, January 15th. Parents and guardians are invited to register their child online at our board website, www.dcdsb.ca. It is important that parents and guardians have the following information available to them prior to beginning the online registration process. You will require your child's Ontario Education Number, or OEN, which can be found on your child's Communication of Learning. You will also require your homeschool English. This is the school that is associated with your home address, and your homeschool French. That is that your child should attend based on your current home address. Steps to the registration process. The steps to registering for our French Immersion program include online registration, as mentioned on our board website, between, again, December 7th and January 15th. After the close of the online registration period, places will be assigned to all students that have registered. That is, provided that the number of students registered meets the minimum threshold for establishing a class. At schools where demand exceeds capacity, students will be placed in accordance to the following criteria. Students whose home address falls within the boundaries of the requested French immersion school. Students who have requested cross-boundary approval due to the location of their childcare. You would require the specific valid address of the childcare at the online registration process time. And lastly, students who have requested cross-boundary approval on account of having siblings that will be attendance in a French program at the requested school where space allows. Parents and guardians who have registered using the online process will receive an automatic email notification of their registration. An acceptance and placement email will be sent to you on or before February 1st, 2021. Upon receipt of this second email, parents and guardians will be requested to confirm their registration no later than February 12th, 2021. Please do check your junk email for a response, as the email may inadvertently go to this mailbox. Please note as well that if the school does not receive confirmation of enrollment from the parent by the expected due date, that is February 12th, the child's name will be removed from the list and the application will be considered withdrawn. Registrations will be closed from January 15th, 2021 to March 22nd, 2021. Which means that no registrations will be accepted at this time. After March 22nd, 2021, late registrations will have to be made at the French Immersion School by contacting the school administration and will be pending available space. Late registrations are not guaranteed. At this time, we would like to refer to the Q&A box for questions from our attendees this evening. We will respond to a series of questions based on time and also provide written response to all questions that we are not able to respond to this evening on our board website under the French Immersion Program webpage. Please note that there are a series of questions already listed there as FAQs that you may refer to in order to support you. Should you not be able to send your questions via the Q&A chat box this evening, again, you are invited to forward your questions via the email provided here. So at this time, Superintendent O'Reilly and myself will just take a moment to review the questions in the Q&A area of our live Teams event. We'd like to begin in this part of our meeting this evening by responding to one of the questions in our Q&A box, are there limited spots for registration? Here at the Durham Catholic District School Board, we're very pleased and proud to be able to share with families that there is not a limit on the registration process. All students who desire to be a part of the Grade 1 French Immersion Program will be placed. This has not been in the past a problem for schools to accommodate those families who would like this opportunity for their child. If necessary, where the program at the home French immersion school is at capacity, there have been situations where a child will need to be moved to another French immersion school in the same community, but this still does allow for the child to participate in the program and have the opportunity to learn in a French immersion program.
Another question is regarding after-school programs. So people are asking about, do the schools have preschool or after-school programs? All of the schools have some sort of after-school program. They may vary in some of the details between school to school. So I would encourage you to reach out to the school that you are is your home school, the one that you will be applying to for French immersion, and you can even just go on their website and you will be able to find out more about the after-school programs offered. Someone asked about the process of if they're not transitioning well and want to go back to their original school. So we really want to support children as they transition into grade 1. It is a big change and it does take time to settle in, and that we find that most children, given the time and their maturity, they grow to really enjoy the program. For students who are struggling, teachers will do their best to support. We will encourage meetings with parents to have communication about the issues that your child may be facing. But of course, there are always opportunities to, through a process of having a team meeting, to identify if this is really not working for a child. We want your children to be successful. And if it's really not working for a child, there is a process that you go through in a team meeting, a form that is completed. The caveat here is that once you leave French Immersion Program, the French Immersion Program, you cannot return to it because the learning is happening rapidly. So that, once they leave, that decision, and we respect those decisions that families make, but for the continuity of the program, that is a final decision.
Another question from our Q&A box is asking about students who are in the French Immersion Program and whether or not it is common for children to fall behind. And would it then be recommended for them to return to their previous school? So as Superintendent O'Reilly has already shared, that is not a practice that we would want to promote. We do want to encourage that students, especially as they enter in at grade 1, where they are just really developing so many of the skills that they would need to be successful, that it really is a process that takes time. So those types of recommendations would never would never be made at any point, because we do believe that all students can learn in a French immersion program. In terms of students falling behind, perhaps maybe falling behind their peers in the English stream, what we have seen is that this has not been an issue for students. They really do have the ability to have their skills transfer from one language to the other. So learning in 2 languages actually does seem to support both their literacy skills and skills across all areas of the curriculum. So we do, and again, we want to highlight the fact that we here in the Durham region, we primarily find ourselves in a community or communities in which English is the main language of communication. So our children are surrounded by English during most of their time outside of their school program. For French immersion students, they make this seamless transition when the program moves into grade 4, where it is a 50-50 model. And they very quickly adapt those skills as they begin to take English language arts, mathematics, and as always, their religion and family life in English, with English being the language of instruction. So another question that I'd like to respond to is in regards to registering for French immersion at a later date. Our early French immersion program, beginning in grade 1, is established in that way so that it helps to build that strong foundational piece for children so that they can move forward developing strong proficiency in the French language. Should a student transfer out of the French immersion program through policies and procedures that have been established here at Durham Catholic, it is not a program, as Superintendent O'Reilly has already noted, that you would be coming back to. So also it is important to share that if you are not registering in grade 1 for French immersion, entering in at a later date, grade 2, 3, and beyond, is not something that you are able to do simply because of the requirements needed for the number of hours as set out by the Ministry of Education for a French immersion program. Another question that has come forward is, can we withdraw the application after acceptance? I would strongly recommend that parents and guardians who are considering the program for their child do follow the dates and the online registration process and stay within them as to hold your place. And if after that point of January 15th, when the registration closes, and mid-February when you will be making that final decision, if something happens in between that period of time and you've decided that you would like to not move forward, you are more than welcome to withdraw the application, and then your child will continue on in the English program, in the English stream. So it is best to register that blockout period of time after the end of the online registration period, and then back to March 22nd, when it will open, but only at the school level by contacting school administration. That is a blackout period, so no registrations will be taken, whether it is online or at the school level itself. That is so that we can create our French immersion classes and then staff them accordingly. So again, it is best to register, and if you are having any second thoughts, to withdraw your registration.
Someone has a question around St. Patrick's, just a confusion. So the difference with St. Patrick's is it's not a dual track. It's only French immersion at that school. And it does follow the same pattern, though, that after grade 4 to grade 12, it's 50-50. It's 50% English, 50% French. So sorry for the confusion there.
So just one of the questions that has also just come forward. If my child's school doesn't have a French immersion program, does that mean I have to register them in a different school? So yes, we do have, of all of our elementary schools here in the Durham Catholic District School Board, only 12 of them are French immersion sites. So your French homeschool is determined by your address, and that can be found, your French immersion homeschool can be found through the Durham Catholic website. If you do go there, you will be able to determine what that site is in your particular neighborhood. So it does mean a transition if you're already not currently in one of the 12 schools that was shared earlier on the 2 slides. If you're not part of that particular school community, it would involve a transfer to the nearest French immersion school.
A question about where you find the OEN number. So if your child is in kindergarten right now and they get a report card around their learning, you'll find it printed on that report card up in the top corner, the OEN number. And then again, as we just discussed, you will find what French Immersion School you belong to on the board website under schools. There is these materials will be posted on the board website. And there is also, if you have any other questions, you can email on by the French programs at dcdsb.ca, and you can request the materials that way.
So we're just going through some of the questions here in the Q&A, and just a reminder that we are providing all of the responses to each of the questions. So if they're not responded to during this live Teams event, your questions will receive a response and they will be posted on our board website. One of the questions that has also come up, and I know that we did share during our presentation, but it does merit taking some additional time to discuss. Parents and guardians are often concerned about their inability to speak French. And I just want to assure you that this is truly not an area of concern. The French Immersion Program has been developed to support non-Francophone, so non-French speaking families, and to support children in developing their language skills so that they can become very proficient speakers of the French language. Should you speak French at home, that is certainly a bonus. It is an opportunity for you to engage in communication with your child in French. However, if you speak German, Polish, Italian, any language, we would certainly encourage you to continue to use that language at home and to still continue to expose your child to a very literacy-rich environment. All of those languages, the language that your child is learning at school, the language that you are supporting at home, all work together to help to build strong literacy skills, as well as just an appreciation for language in general. As was mentioned earlier, educators who will be supporting your child in their learning journey understand that parents may not have a French background. Communication is provided to you in English, as well as reporting is provided in English. What is always so heartwarming and lovely to see is when children come home to families and to share with those who care and love them their new skills in French. And it's always just wonderful to hear parents share back that, you know, it is their child who is sharing with them new language learning, and that it's something that they are building together. So I hope that that helps to, you know, settle anyone's minds about that particular piece. We do want to assure you that it is not a requirement for the program.
I see some questions around cross boundaries. I think that I would suggest that if you are, you know, in a school, think about cross boundaries, etc. It's best to call the school and ask the process. There is a process around that, but you will get the best information by calling the school. And then in regards to the pandemic, there's a few questions around, you know, if we are still in the pandemic. So as of now, the Ministry of Education, their direction that parents can have a choice between virtual and face-to-face, that is for this year only. But we know that we will, it is all driven by the pandemic and where we are at with that. Right presently, there is French immersion options in the virtual school this year. We're really proud of the fact that we were able to continue our French immersion programs in the virtual school. It's that our students kept learning that way. So right, that is how it's gone this year. We would try our very best again to ensure that our French immersion programs continue, if necessary, in a virtual environment next year.
Just some questions again in regards to the selection of the French immersion school. That is not a choice by the parents. Again, by visiting our board website, you will find that there is a school tracker that you will be able to enter your home address and be able to determine where your home French immersion site is. It is unfortunately not the choice of the parents or guardians as to which school your child will attend.
And for more specific information around busing, your own busing, you could call DSTS, which is the busing organization that takes care of busing for both the public and the Catholic boards. If you go on the website, you will be able to see that DSTS. Go under there, and there will be a contact number where you could know for more certain if your child would be able to be bused.
Just again, a question in regards to registration. If you are interested in the French immersion program for your child, where they would be entering in at grade 1, remembering that this is the only time where you can begin that process. Please do register. I do want to highlight that point. Again, although we do not have limits on our enrollment in the French immersion program, those dates are dates that we do have to follow just for the process of being able to determine the number of classes as well as staffing for September 2021. So please do highlight those dates on your calendars. And when you do submit the online registration, please ensure that you are checking your junk email, as they do inadvertently sometimes the confirmation as well as the acceptance emails, they may find their way to that particular inbox, and we would hate for you to miss out on the opportunity for your child. As was previously mentioned, the date of February 12th is the date by which all of those confirmations from parents and guardians do need to come forward. Otherwise, your child's registration will be removed. For anyone who you may know of who has not been able to be in attendance to this live Teams event, a question has just come forward about whether or not this will be available again at a later date and time. Unfortunately, that will not be taking place. However, the entire presentation, along with this question and answer period, will be shared on our board website for future reference. And for even those of you who have participated in this evening's live event, you can go back and listen to the presentation should you like to review it. One of the questions that has also come forward is in regards to our secondary schools. Of our 7 secondary sites here in the Durham Catholic District School Board, 3 of them are currently French immersion sites. So we do have Father Leo J. Austin, St. Mary, and Notre Dame. So those are the 3 sites which receive students from our 12 schools for their secondary French immersion programming. Class sizes has come forward as a question in the French immersion program. French immersion programming in grades 1 to 8 follows the same class size restrictions as our English stream classes. So a class size of 23 is a maximum in a primary class.
As far as grade 1, someone is asking, can you confirm there's no English language course included in grade 1? And I'll ask you all to answer that.
So it is something that we do want to highlight to families who may not fully understand that when you are enrolling your child in a French immersion program, by the nature of the program itself, your child is fully immersed in the French language. So the expectation will be that as the students, initially get their start in grade 1, and there will be just, opportunities there for the educator and the class to have, there will be, of course, some English spoken in those initial days and weeks. However, that slowly begins to dissipate, and the teacher will integrate more and more French each day, week, moving forward, so that you are very quickly seeing that 90% of their instructional time is fully in French. The only time that the child receives instruction in English is during their religion and family life instructional block. So the remainder of their class time, the teacher is teaching all subjects, math, science, social studies, the arts, all in French. And this is meant to help to build that strong foundation that students will require as they move forward throughout the years. Many of these French immersion sites are found in schools where the entire school community embraces the French language, where announcements are shared, prayers are shared each day en français, in French, and where there is truly a community that embraces that love of learning the language. And so it is really a benefit to those students in our French immersion classes in those schools, where not only in their classroom they are hearing French spoken by their teacher all day for most of it, but also outside of that classroom learning environment.
And there's, a great deal of research behind learning another language and immersion in another language. And so that there is not the expectation that you're teaching your child to read at home. Your child is learning learning to read in French, and that what we know about language is lots of those skills are transferable. And that by the time children enter the 50-50 model in grade 4, where they're having some instruction in English and in reading in those areas, the students do quite well and are at par with their peers who have been in the English program. So the best way you can support your children at home is, reading to them in the way that you would read to them whether they were in a French immersion program or an English program, reading all those wonderful stories, hearing those rich, being surrounded by rich oral language in English. Well, then also it's a transferable to the French. So there's not that expectation, or we don't wish you to be taking a time at night to teach your child to read in English.
I think we'll just take 2 more questions before our time is up here this evening. One of the questions is in regards to, are classes split or combined, as in a grade 1 and grade 2? Yes, we do have across all of our sites here within Durham Catholic combined grades in our English stream as well as in our French immersion programming. So that is something that you can expect, should that be the way that classes need to be organized in order to accommodate class sizes and staffing at that particular school. And the last question that we'll address this evening is in regards to supports in the classroom for children that may have special needs in the French immersion program, the same as there would be in the English stream. And I do appreciate this question and want to reiterate that we do welcome all students into our French immersion program, as we welcome all students into all programs here across the board. So There are opportunities for children to be supported in their French immersion classroom, not only by their classroom teacher, but also by school level staff such as program support teachers, or also by board level staff, should that be something that is a suggestion. So all accommodations or modifications that can be implemented to support a child will be implemented to ensure that there can be success for your child in our French immersion program. With that last question, I will share that we do have additional questions that are here in our Q&A. I do want to remind you that, again, if your question was not answered, we will be providing responses to these questions on our board website. Please check dcdsb.ca under French immersion on our programming, on our program icon. When you click that, and you will be brought to the French immersion webpage. We will hope to have those up and ready for you as soon as tomorrow, so that you will receive the responses to your questions. And as well, just a reminder that the FAQs are there to support you should you have any other additional questions. Please check there, or use the French programs at dcdsb.ca should a question come to you in the next while. And we will continue to monitor that, and we will respond to you personally once those questions have already been shared on the board website. At this time, I would just like to extend a thank you to all of the families who have joined us this evening in this presentation, for sharing your questions and for listening to all of the information that was shared with you this evening. I'd like to also extend a thank you to Superintendent O'Reilly, who has helped share in this evening's presentation, as well as to all of those behind the scenes who have helped to put this together. We are very excited to welcome you to our French immersion program along with your child, should that be the choice that you make for September of 2021. We look forward to hearing from you, and again, wish you all of the best. Thank you very much, and good evening.
Thank you.